Hi everybody, my name's Jason. I'm the developer of Blawx, which is a web-based user-friendly tool for rules as code. And we're going to do a little demonstration of version 1.4 of Blawx. So let's take a look. When you get to Blawx, the first thing you're going to need to do is to create a user account like so. And then you are going to want to create a new blank project if you're not dealing with any of these examples. So for our purposes, we'll start with a blank project, and we are going to encode the Wills Act, and we'll call it tutorial. And then we need to put in the text of the legislation here. So we'll say Wills Act, 2 lines, and then 1 period, a person who is at least 18 years of age may make a will, period. And that's our whole act. So now we have our Wills Act tutorial. Phase 1 is finished. We've given it the legislative text. Now we start phase 2. We start giving it the code. So you can see on the left here, your legislative text has become a drop-down tree that you can navigate to find different pieces. We're going to encode this piece right here. A person who is at least 18 years of age may make a will. So the 2 things that you need to do when you're encoding are you need to encode the vocabulary and then you need to encode the rules. So we're going to start with the vocabulary. We're going to say that we know there is a type of thing here called a person. So we're going to grab this category declaration. We're going to say person is a category and object is a person. It's how that category should be displayed. Okay, and what do we know about people? We know 2 things. First, a person can have an age. So we're going to grab this and say the category person has an attribute age, which is a number, and will appear as the object is the number years of age. Okay, and then we need to be able to say that the person is or isn't eligible. So we're going to grab another one of these. We're going to say person has the attribute eligible, which is true or false, and it will be object may make a will. That's how we're going to describe it. So now we've done the first step. We've got our vocabulary. Now we need to create rules using this vocabulary. So we're going to grab this rule right here, and we're going to say when we know that there is a person. So let's grab this block here and say when we know the variable person is an object in the category person, and we know that that person has an age. So we're going to grab the age block and we're going to say person is age years of age, and then we're going to go into the numbers block and we're going to grab our comparison here, and we're going to say must be greater than or the same value as. So the age, age, put that there, must be greater than or the same value as 18. Slot that in there and make it 18. So when we have a person with an age and that age is greater than 18, then we know that that person may make a will, according to this section. Like so. So that's our vocabulary, persons, ages, and eligibility. That creates some blocks that we can use to create people, talk about the age, talk about the eligibility. We encode the rule. So that's it. You've encoded your legislation. What do you do next? Well, you go and you create what in Blawx is called a test, and this test will be for whether or not someone is eligible. We'll go into our eligible test, and here we just ask a question. Does it hold that someone may make a will? And that's it. So we save that. Now we've got our rules and we've got our question. We can go and use the scenario editor to test and see if it's behaving properly. So in the scenario editor, we're going to go into the view and we're going to hide the question or the attribute of eligibility, because that's the question we're asking it to answer. So we don't want to accidentally give it that information. Once we've hidden that, we can go back in here and we can say Jason is a person, and Jason is 17 years of age. And then we can run that code, and as expected, we get no answers received. Then we can go back into our facts, get rid of that fact, and let's replace it with Jason is 45 years of age, and run the code. And now it gives us an answer, which we can see that Jason is entitled to make a will, and it provides us an explanation, which is written in natural language, and we can dig down into that explanation and find out why each of the subparts is true, down to the fact that we know Jason is a person because it was provided as a fact, and we know Jason is 45, which was provided as a fact. Therefore, according to section 1, Jason may make a will, and if you mouse over section 1, it will give you the text of section 1 of your act. So you've got a natural language explanation that's linked back to the source of your legislation and is understandable. So now you've tested your software, you're happy that your encoding works. How do you use this outside of the scenario editor? How you make this useful elsewhere? Well, the scenario editor is actually just using the web API that Blawx provides, and the Devel tab shows you the information that's being sent back and forth. So you can see this is the facts that was sent, basically just saying Jason is a person and Jason's age is 45. So if we copy these facts that were sent over and we go to the test /interview, you can see that this is an API endpoint. We can send the same JSON package to that API endpoint from here or from any other piece of software. And you can see that it will respond back with the natural language and computer language explanation for why Jason is eligible to make a will. So that is Blawx version 1.4. Thanks very much for watching, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'm Jason at lexpedite.ca.